Hey, good evening, everyone. So I'm going to show you how on our '06 Four Winds 5000 here, Class C RV. This is at a Chevy Express 3500 front end instead of the Ford that you see on some of the vehicles like this Class Cs. But how we just made a big upgrade, and that was switching out the halogens for LEDs. So we did not buy projector style headlights. We used the same regular headlights that came with it. Did a lot of research about them and everything else, made sure we got some good LEDs in there. But after we got the LEDs installed, which was a little bit of a pain, I didn't actually take a video of that, but basically just take this bolt out here, and this, and that might have been all that I took out. There might have been one more, but I think those two bolts, this thing pulled away, and then you can see there's the two bulbs. So this one's really the only one you really need to take the assembly out for. This one you can actually get at if you wanted to swap this bulb, the high bulb. But again, after we put the new bulbs in, I noticed that, and I don't know how bad it was in the past, but our pattern seemed off. And so on the video, it looks like, at least on my screen here, you can see how clearly one is higher than the other. It's because I already adjusted the driver's side. I have not adjusted the passenger side, but you can almost see the exact cutoff on where it should be. And so, I was actually thinking about it. I had some people, flashing their lights at me, and I thought, man, what's going on? After I put these in, and I realized that we just didn't have them adjusted well. So the first thing you have to do is make sure your headlights are on. And once your headlights are on, you can grab your trusty Binford tape measure here. And what you want to look for is there's a little dot. And if you can see it right there, I'm pointing at the dot. That's the center of your headlight. So on this one, it's even got a little plus symbol on it. But what you want to do is take your tape measure. Let's see if you can't do this one-handed here. And you want to measure how high up that dot is. And that dot for me was 41 inches. So at 41 inches, and then you're supposed to get about 21 feet away or 25 feet away. I'm about 20 feet away if you look at these squares as being 10-foot squares. So I'm just about 10 foot away, 20 feet away, which that's going to be good enough. We're not doing anything professional here. We're just trying to get these headlights adjusted. So knowing that it's 41 inches, I come over to my garage door here and just mark off where 41 inches is. And you can see there's a line right there that, it's about 41 inches. So that's the top, that's where the center of your light should be. And actually what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have your aim be about 3 to 4 inches below that. So if this is 41 inches, an inch, a 2-inch, somewhere around here is where my cutoff should be. And so that's what I've done with the driver's side one. But again, you can see something's not right over on the right-hand side. So let me show you how you can figure out where your cutoff actually is. It becomes a lot more apparent when you block the headlight. So I'm going to take my trusty Amazon box here. I'm going to block the driver's side headlight. And there you can see that cutoff is way high. I mean, the cutoff, which you can see very well in the video, it's actually harder to see here, is somewhere way up here. And that cutoff is supposed to be somewhere way down here. So I'd be blinding people if I was driving around like that. And I was. So after getting your headlights flashed at you on one trip, you realize right away how poorly this was aimed. So the trick is to adjust it. And, I didn't even need to pull this out. I'm going to leave this in here. So to adjust it, you want to do one side at a time. So I've already done the driver's side. But you're going to need, for the Chevy at least, a torque set. I got this on Amazon for I think $15. And what you actually need is an E8 Torx female socket. So how it's a female. Now there is the ability to use one of these smaller, I don't know what it is. It might be a T15 or T10 as well. But I was worried about it breaking and stripping. I didn't know if it would be moved. The E8 female Torx is what fit. And so here's where it is. So you can see you're going to need a really long extension. You're going to need an adapter. This was, of course, a 3/8, or I'm sorry, yeah, I guess it's 3/8 socket with a really long extension on it to get down in this hole down in here. So let's see if I can get some light in there for you or not. It'll be a little tricky. But there you go. You can see it down in there now. That's what you're trying to get on. So you can see there it focused. You could go inside the center, but it'd be much better to use that T8 on the outside of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this T8 socket. And I'm going to set it down in there on that star, possibly. Set our trusty headlamp on there. So I'm going to get this T8 onto here. And there it is, it clicked on. So now that I'm on, all I'm gonna do is turn one direction. So right now I'm gonna turn it counterclockwise. And if you watch the beam pattern, it's going up. You know, that's the wrong direction. I don't wanna blind people further. So instead what I'm gonna do, flip it, and we're gonna go clockwise. And if I watch, I should be able to watch my beam pattern. Slowly go down, more and more and more until my cutoff is about where I want it to be. So as you can tell in this video, which is really cool because this is a lot, you can't see it as well in person as you can on the video. The brightest spot of my headlight is below the cutoff. And I don't know if I said this correct earlier or not, but what you're trying to do is get your cutoff at right where the center of your headlight is. So the cutoff for me would have been right here at this line, which you can barely see. Again, 1 inch or 2 inches below. This is where maybe 3 inches to 4 inches. This is where your cutoff should be. So if your cutoff is right there, which it is right now for me, you'll see the brightest part of your headlight is below the cutoff. And that's what it's supposed to be. And your driver's side is supposed to be, again, 4 inches. Your passenger side, you can cheat up a little bit more, and hopefully you're not blinding people because it's not pointing directly at them. So I am going to cheat mine up just a little bit. I went a little farther than I'd like to have gone. So I'm going to cheat it up just a little bit. And we're going to leave it right there. So you can see my cutoff is pretty much exactly at 41 inches right now. So that's how you're supposed to do your adjustments. It worked very easily. It was like a 5-minute job. It took longer to get the doggone parts. The only thing I can suggest is that when you are doing this, make sure you're fully loaded down with water. If you're towing a vehicle, make sure you've got your vehicle hooked up. I'm not towing a vehicle at this time, but that can be a factor as well. So if you're typically towing a vehicle, there's something that's going to be pushing down on the back end of your vehicle and raising the front end. You're going to want to make sure that you're prepared for that. So let's move the cutoff here just so you can see what the driver's side looks like. Put our blocker in here, and there you go. There's what the driver's side looks like. So that's how you adjust your headlights once you've put some new headlights in, or even after, if you haven't put new headlights in, what you should be doing to adjust your headlights on your RV. Safe travels, everyone. I hope this video helped.